Hello there. The next round of elections for members of the Scottish Parliament will take place next May, with the question being, if the majority of those voted in are for Scottish independence, should it trigger Indy Ref 2? Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost. And I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. And a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. If, as is looking the case, the Scots voters once again elect a pro-independence majority into the Scottish Parliament, some pundits are saying it should automatically trigger a second Scottish Independence Referendum, or Indy Ref 2. And with the latest polling from Survation suggesting that pro-independence MSPs will win a majority of about 2-1, the calls and demands for another referendum are getting all the louder. Now, Tory MP and Scottish Secretary Alister Jack has dismissed these demands, citing the once-in-a-generation nature of the 2014 referendum in a tweet. "I don't think we should keep having referendums until they get their own way. It should respect the outcome of the one we had," he said. The trouble is that if the vast majority of Scottish voters actively put pro-independence politicians in place, how can we deny their strength of feeling? And when Alister Jack talks about having referenda until they get their own way, to whom is he referring? The SNP or the voters? Because there's a massive difference between the two. It's all very well saying that one single party shouldn't get their own way, but to say that about a majority vote of the people is another thing. Now, the Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon responded to Jack's comment, tweeting, "Politicians who rage against democracy don't prevail." And James Mackenzie, a former head of media for Green MSPs, who commissioned the Survation research that put support for independence at 54%, said, "Anyone who wants Scotland to get a second chance to vote on independence should vote for SNP or Green MSPs next May. By almost 2-1, the Scottish public don't buy the cynical chat from some quarters that only an SNP-only majority would count as a mandate, nor do they accept Boris Johnson's anti-democratic line that we shouldn't be allowed to vote again." And he added that, "Make no mistake, a referendum on Scotland's future is coming, and we will win." But the question is, does a majority vote for pro-independence MSPs mean that voters definitely support independence? Many Scottish voters may just want to put a tick in that box to give the Tories and Westminster a bit of a kicking, all because voting for Labour at the moment is pointless. What better way to send a message of defiance to Boris than putting a cross in the SNP box next May, whether or not you want independence? Many may see a vote for the SNP as maintaining a threat of independence over Westminster that will gain them favourable funding or other political advantages. And they might be relying on the talk of zero chance of a second referendum emanating from ministers. Now, regardless of my own personal views regarding the Union, I am a believer in democracy first, so I have to ask myself one simple question. And that is, as much as it grieves me, if a convincing majority of people have democratically used their vote to express a desire for independence, can I deny it? As someone who has campaigned for the democratic end of rule from Brussels, it would be hypocritical of me to say, no, you cannot have your ambitions enacted through the democratic process. But this is muddied when the government can claim that next year's elections are just a kick the Tories event and nothing more. But what would happen if the SNP told the Scottish people to vote in these elections as if it were a referendum, so that they could stand up afterwards and say, look, the Scots want independence? What could the UK government do about that? So all this depends on how vigorously the SNP electioneer the vote next year as being a proxy independence referendum. Suppose the SNP place full emphasis on the elections as a de facto referendum. In that case, with a thumping pro-independence result, there would be little to no justification for Westminster ignoring the voices of Scotland, and they could be morally forced into a corner. But on the other hand, the Scottish voters might shy away from such immediacy and decide to play safe for now, with the SNP losing ground as a result. The problem for pro-union Scots who vote for Sturgeon to poke Boris and the Tories in the eye is that they might find themselves on a slippery slope to getting what the SNP wants. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below, and support me on Patreon or PayPal. So what do you think about all of this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.